The grant Washington County uses to prosecute domestic violence cases prohibits the office from forcing victims to participate in criminal proceedings.
It's our community watchdog's latest discovery. Nate Morbido's investigation previously uncovered more than a dozen victims who were held in contempt of court after they failed to obey a subpoena.
Yeah, the agency that oversees the $216,000 three-year grant says the district attorney's office is now well aware its prosecutors can't force victims to prosecute cases, meaning under the terms of the grant, if victims are too scared, the DA's office can't demand they testify.
How do we do our jobs if any and all witnesses or any and all victims say, I just don't want to come to court?
District Attorney Tony Clark raised that question earlier this month after we asked him why, on occasion, his prosecutors push for some domestic violence victims to be held in contempt of court, including some of the most serious cases where victims allege significant acts of violence.
That's the cases that we most want people to come into court on. So we want that individual to come to court even if they don't want to. We want that individual to be in court to help us in stopping that cycle. And it could be to prevent harm to them later on or to another victim.
Moving forward, prosecutors can no longer force victims to participate in those cases under the terms of their grant agreement. We discovered that after reviewing the Stop Violence Against Women grant, which considers that act something that could compromise victims' safety and recovery. We found the U.S. Department of Justice's grant information makes that same stance.
The prosecutor's office is aware that that stipulation in the grant funds that they not force the victim to testify.
Office of Criminal Justice Programs Director Bill Skolin doesn't doubt that prosecutors previously had the best intentions at heart. But he says his office's primary goal is victim safety. He and his employees have since offered guidance, not just to the DA's office, but to others involved in the process, in hopes that everyone can come to a consensus about the best way to hold offenders accountable. But more importantly, protect victims and make sure their needs are met.
We feel that the victims will be better served as of today, and these agencies will, prosecutor's office, victim service agencies will continue to meet and improve what they have going as of today.
In the meantime, he says the office's advice will allow Washington County to keep its grant money and continue to successfully prosecute the hundreds of other domestic violence cases that go before them.
It is never okay to arrest victims.
Never.
And never okay to arrest victims for not showing up for court. No, because we don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Lynn Armstrong says she's still in shock from our original discovery that several victims spent time in jail. But the Safe Passage Domestic Violence Shelter manager thinks over time, things now will improve.
I am relieved. I'm hoping that maybe this situation brought to light something before it ballooned into a horrible, horrible mess for a lot of families. Progress takes time, and I hope that the community is looking at it from the perspective of what it would be like to be in a victim's shoes.
Nate, I understand the DA opted out of commenting about your discovery regarding that grant.
Yeah, Tony Clark says he wants to first talk directly with the Office of Criminal Justice Programs in Nashville before addressing this. The assistant director of that state office told me the DA's desire to fix this issue is, quote, huge. Jennifer Brinkman added the Washington County community has done a ton of good in recent years when it comes to combating domestic violence. And, quote, while this particular incident was not wonderful, they're doing more than a lot of other communities, and that needs to be celebrated, end quote.
Nate Morbido. Nate, thank you very much. Sarah?